281 to 284 News. My name is Javon Wilson.
I'm Kamal Haynes.
And I'm Ron Grant.
And we are so thrilled and happy to be coming to you live out of the beautiful British Virgin Islands. The content continues via our website, 284media.com.
In today's news, the BVI Health Services Authority is seeking 20 qualified persons to fill project employee position to increase COVID testing capacity in the BVI.
The Honorable Shereen Flax-Charles invites qualified candidates to apply for trade political advisory position. Interviews will commence on September 17th.
And a pioneer of the BVI's financial services industry, Dr. Mathavious, to be celebrated in November for his 45 years of service to the territory.
VI and UN sign historic country implementation plan.
And the majority of the community centers in the BVI still under repairs, with only 2 of 9 completed. These and more stories when To It for News returns.
You value traditions. Today, you value music. You value education. Family.
I love you.
Service.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Love. Life. At Popular, we're committed to you and everything our community values. For the things you value the most, count on us. Popular.
Welcome everyone. It's Monday, August 23rd, 2021. I'm Kamal Haynes.
And I'm Ron Grant. We're coming to you live and direct from Tortola in the beautiful British Virgin Islands. A happy Monday to one and all. Thank you so much for tuning in. Before we get into our newscast, we of course want to remind you that the curfew in the British Virgin Islands was further extended from August 20th for another 14 days. It was extended from August 21st to Saturday, September 4th. Persons are reminded to adhere to the curfew order. In addition to that, the Royal Virgin Islands Police Force are conducting inquiries into a shooting incident near the Parham Town General Supply Store around 10 p.m. on Friday, August 20th, that resulted in one male being injured. Investigations indicated that the victim was seated in his parked vehicle when he was approached and shot by a masked lone assailant. The victim's injuries are not believed to be life-threatening. Among the occupants of the vehicle was a female in the front passenger seat and a 2-year-old in the back seat. Persons who were in the Parham Town general area on Friday. For those who were in the area may have saw anything, the Royal Virgin Islands Police Force is employing you to contact them to assist them with their investigations at the intelligence unit at 368-9339 or an officer in the East End Police Station.
Well, viewers, we head to news from the BVI Health Services Authority, where they are presently seeking to fill approximately 20 vacancies for the position of project employee to further boost the territory's COVID-19 testing capacity. But this number was confirmed by the Minister for Health, Carvin Malone, during an interview with 284 Media on Monday, August 23rd. But the Minister said the BVI Health Services Authority recently acquired some 45,000 rapid tests and are now actively seeking professionals and qualified persons who will be trained to administer and record these tests for incoming and outgoing travelers. But these 20 persons will be spread among various ports of entry across the territory, which include Jos Van Dyke, the West End Port, the Roadtown Jetty, and the ports on Virgin Gorda and Anegada. When Minister Malone spoke to the importance of the Health Services Authority acquiring these additional persons.
I'm pleased to announce that the BVI Health Services Authority has reported that they have received over 45,000 and they have additional orders to be placed for the antigen test, the rapid test. And this is a very important milestone for the authority, because as we continue to open our borders, as we continue to do whatever is required to keep our country safe, it is important that all of the ports of entry be equipped to receive the passengers from actually overseas. So it is important for Justin Dyke, for instance, that we have the folks from Justin Dyke being trained for the administration of the rapid test. There are 2 or 3 different disciplines that is required. So the reporting, the administration of it, in terms of assisting passengers and assisting residents to fill out the electronic forms. And once the tests are taken, to have them reported back to the central database, and within a 15-minute period, the client can receive their particular results.
But Minister Malone also said that by having these full-time persons at the various ports of entry, it will assist in reducing some of the expense for persons on the sister islands who normally would have to travel to Tortola to get the testing done.
So this is important as we open Jocelyn Dyke, as we open the West End port. We must put full-time persons at West End. We must put full-time persons at Road Town. We must have full-time persons at the airport. We go to Virgin Gorda, we must have full-time persons. We go to Anegada, we must have full-time persons because yachts are checking in, they're checking out. Well, especially checking out because once the antigen tests are being received by the port that they're going to, then you don't want someone having to leave and spending one night and resources over in Anegada and have to come all the way back to Tortola the night before just to get the antigen test. We can have this done at wherever they're going to have their final port, finalize their trips. So this opens up economics for each of the sister islands, and it also opens up the ease and availability of the tests being done here on Tortola.
Well, the health minister further revealed that the immediate plans are to have these persons fully employed for a period of 6 months, which may likely extend once the requirements for testing persist. Well, he said despite having to allocate more funding to employ these persons, the initiative is one that will be self-sustainable since travelers will be injecting money to be tested.
It is creating employment. It's going to be 6 months in the first instance, because we don't know how long the coronavirus and the effects of it is going to be here in the territory, in the world, in the region. So we have to make preparations for all of this. So yes, it is an employment opportunity the first 6 months in the first instance, and so there will be additional. But this is one in which you're pleased to enter, because it is also an income center. So the cost associated with it would be borne by the particular customers who will become privy will be able to take advantage of the ease in getting the antigen test, the particular rapid results that you would have. It would also cut down tremendously on the work that the PCR test and the lab will have to do. So it's a win-and-win situation for all concerned.
Well, according to the BVI Health Services Authority, the project employee will be responsible for conducting general COVID testing for the purpose of collecting COVID data associated with all inbound travelers coming to the BVI via private vessels, ferries, and airport terminals. Well, the employee will also be required to perform PCR testing both orally and through nasal procedures, which will include children and adults ages 5 years and older. Well, the candidate must also be mature, flexible, and computer literate, and must possess capabilities to troubleshoot and function on varying administrative levels. Well, also to note, the individual should have at minimum a high school diploma, an associate degree in administration, healthcare, administration, or business management, and must be 18 years of age and older, must be fully vaccinated against COVID-19, and should possess a valid BVI driver's license. Well, interested persons can apply by sending their curriculum vitae or resume and letter of application to the email address of hrd@bvihsa.vg. Persons can also apply by submitting hard copies of their application addressed to the Acting Human Resource Manager of the BVI Health Services Authority to P.O. Box 439, Rotown, Tortola, VG 110, British Virgin Islands. Well, the deadline to submit the applications is August 31st, 2021. Around this is some good news for persons who are actually seeking jobs in these very difficult times. And
I do trust and hope that persons, qualified persons that is, who are in a position to apply, do apply and really serve and assist the BVI Health Services Authority in executing these roles.
And the only negative I guess persons would stem or will take from this is the whole essence of that one requirement where is requiring persons that apply for the job to be fully vaccinated.
Well, I think that's a very interesting point. If you're not fully vaccinated, then perhaps this role isn't for you.
Indeed.
Now, continuing on the local scene, in a recent Facebook post, Junior Minister for Trade and Economic Development and Territorial At-Large Representative, the Honorable Shereen Flax-Charles, issued a statement to the general public. She specifically took the time to encourage eligible candidates to apply to her ministry for the post of political advisor. She stated, and I quote, "In the interest of transparency and progress, I am sharing with you the profile for ministerial political advisor. As a junior minister," she said, "I rely on very limited staffing and funding to execute projects, so I am eager to take advantage of any opportunity to serve, doing so openly and justly. My intention is to pursue this role and to go beyond advising. The successful candidate must create solutions for the business sector, developing and executing initiatives, liaising with stakeholders, and fostering systemical dialogue and with communities. If you meet the listed qualifications and are a BVI lander or belonger with a vested interest in building our future, this opportunity is for you. Please send applications to sflax-charles@gov.vg. Applications should be submitted no later than August 31st and should include a cover letter, curriculum vitae, proof of belongership, and of course police record. Now, in the case of companies, this should reflect the individual which will spearhead the engagement. Interviews will commence on September 7th. Please note," she continued, "that firms and individuals are able to cooperate on this project if you jointly present a viable proposal. To date, the Honorable Shereen Flax-Charles is the only minister receiving a political advisor to publicly announce the vacancy and encourage eligible persons that is, to apply. The move by the Foy administration to appoint some 9 political advisors was met with much concern from the opposition members as well as the general public. The decision listed in the cabinet decisions dated July 5th and 8th stated that the cabinet of the Virgin Islands has considered and approved, along with the waiving of the tender process, for government ministers, including junior ministers, a political advisor at a cap of $120,000 per annum. Now, the Premier of the Virgin Islands, the Honorable Andrew Foy, will have up to 3 political advisors, and we know of at least 1 being appointed to date, while all additional 4 cabinet members and 2 junior ministers will each have 1 political advisor of their choice. This comes to a total of a little over $1 million per annum for government political advisors. Kamal, the highly controversial move by the Foy administration to appoint political advisors has been met with much backlash from not only opposition members but members of the community, really questioning the timing and whether or not this is absolutely necessary. However, we see at large Representative the Honorable Shereen Flax-Charles, despite the tendering process being waived, which means that they could essentially choose who they see fit for this. We see her being the only minister to date to actually come forward and encourage persons who may be qualified to apply, and I think it speaks volumes to what she is trying to accomplish.
Indeed, and I guess persons presents persons another opportunity to seek employment as well. Well, viewers, still ahead, Honor Guard send-off for late Sergeant Algon Smikle and pioneer of BVI's financial services industry, Dr. Mathavious, to be celebrated in November for his 45 years of service to the territory, and an update for parents of the Elmore Stoutt High School. We hear these stories after a short commercial break.
Viewers, welcome back. Thanks so much for sticking with us. Continuing on the local scene, the Royal Virgin Islands Police Force gave deceased officer Sergeant Algon Smikle a honored guard send-off over the weekend at the Terence B. Lettsome International Airport. His funeral and interment will be held in his birthplace in Jamaica. Commissioner of Police Mark Collins and the honor guard of the Royal Virgin Islands Police Force officers lined up at the security entrance to the airport's runway, where his transshipment casket had to be carried by a forklift as prescribed by the airport security protocol. Officers of the Armed Response Unit, where he last served, and all branches of the Royal Virgin Islands Police Force were represented. Sergeant Smikle served in the force for the past 18 years. Prior to joining the Royal Virgin Islands Police Force, he served an additional 10 years in the Jamaica Constabulary Force.
And viewers, we move to news from the BVI Financial Services industry, where pioneer of the BVI financial service industry, Dr. Robert Mathavious, will be celebrated in the week of November 15th for his 45 years of service to the territory. But this announcement was made during a recent press conference held by the BVI Financial Services Commission. But during the press conference, it was announced that his legacy will be celebrated over several years with several days, with events starting on November 15th through 18th. But these events will be sponsored by the BVI Financial Services Commission, the government of the Virgin Islands, and the financial services industry. Outlining the week of events was former Executive Director of BVI Finance, Lorna Smith, who is the conference committee chair. Take a listen.
We have a number of festivities planned, beginning on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Monday, the government will in fact take center stage. Unfortunately, the Deputy Governor, who is coordinating this part of it, Mr. David Archer, could not be with us. So we will probably not hear very much about that until he gets back, but he assures me that it's well underway. Tuesday, Mr. Mathavious will meet with the industry in what has become known as the Meet the Regulator Forum. And on Wednesday evening, we will have a gala dinner. We will have at that dinner, it will be at this point at Scrub Island. In fact, it will be at Scrub Island. And you will be hearing more about that as we proceed. And then Thursday is what I refer to as the centerpiece of the celebration, which will be the conference, the international conference under the title of Global Currents. The whole week will be called the House That Mathavious Built.
Well, Chairwoman Smith also gave an insight of what persons can expect at the main events, the international conference, which will be headlined by keynote speaker, Director of the OECD Center for Tax Policy Administration, Pascal St. Amans.
As I said, the overall theme for the week of celebrations is the house that Mathavious built. And the conference theme, it will be Global Currents, Financial Services, Global Currents. We will have with us, in addition to the COVID and the aftermath of COVID, or dealing with COVID, if you want to put it that way, we have, of course, the international regulatory developments. We have the global tax, the impact of that on the whole world, but especially offshore, the global corporate minimum tax, it's called. And who better to speak to us at the conference than the head of the Center for Tax Policy and Administration at the OECD, Mr. Pascal Saint-Amand, with whom Robert and a number of us have had a relationship for many years. We will have also, of course, Mr. Baker, as CEO, will speak again. Our Premier has been invited to speak. And a number of international speakers from China, from Europe, from the Caribbean. At the end of this briefing, I will circulate to the members of the press the program together with the press release. But all in all, it promises to be a very exciting conference.
Well, viewers, Mrs. Smith also said that the conference will seek to chart a course for the future of international financial services in this pandemic period with all its challenges. She said the subject of green finance will also be an area to be covered by the IFC's look to build a more sustainable future. Well, Dr. Mathavious has played a pivotal role in charting the course of the development of the BVI's financial services industry for over 35 years. He has also had an illustrious 25-year career as a civil servant, during which he served as Deputy Financial Secretary from 1980 to 1985, Financial Secretary from 1985 to 1991, and Director of Financial Services from 1993 to 2001. Well, in January 2002, Dr. Mathavious assumed the post of Managing Director or Chief Executive Officer of the Commission, a post that he held until December 2020. But he also served as Deputy Governor and Acting Governor. Well, Ron, we would like to wish Dr. Mathavious all the best as he continues to enjoy his retirement.
Indeed, what an illustrious career and what a contribution to the territory of the Virgin Islands. I think everything that Chairwoman Lorna Smith and her team are doing to honor his legacy while he can still enjoy it, I think it is commendable.
Indeed.
Parents of students of the Elmore Stoutt High School are reminded that school commences on a 2-shift system on Monday, September 6th, along with the following. Orientation for all students will take place during the week of August 30th to September 3rd, 2021. Juniors grades 7 to 9 will be housed at the Lower Estate campus, and seniors students grades 10 to 12 at the Clarence Thomas Limited campus that is in Passia Estate. Students will be required to wear a correct uniform to school. In addition to that, students in grades 7, 8, and 9 will receive email information on their digital textbooks from the ICT unit in the Ministry of Education. Along with the digital textbooks, required to purchase a few workbooks that are listed on the attached book list, and persons can do that by visiting our website to view that book list. Parents and students are also notified that summer school for senior students from grades 11 to 12 has been canceled. Now, parents and students, if you have any more information that is requested, persons can contact the Elmore Stoutt High School via email at esh@vischools.edu.vg or the following telephone numbers at 468-6764, 468-6759, or 468-6725. Kamal, we know that many persons, parents along with students and of course educators, are very pleased to see that our students are moving back to face-to-face sessions. Of course, all primary schools will be full-day sessions, whereas the senior students, both the junior and senior at the Elmore Stoutt High School, will be operating on a shift system. We want to take this opportunity here at 284 Media to wish all our educators, students, as well as the Ministry of Education a much successful academic school year.
Indeed. Well, viewers, up next, the Virgin Islands government and the United Nations signed historic country implementation plan, and the majority of the community centers in the BVI still under repairs, with only 2 of 9 completed. These stories after a word from our sponsors.
The wait is over. CCT Fire is here. Experience ultra-fast downloads, seamless streaming, and even more reliable connectivity on an all-new fire-blazing super-fast CCT Fiber network. CCT Fire. Bring it home and upgrade today.
Viewers, welcome back. Thanks for sticking with us. Premier and Minister of Finance, the Honorable Andrew A. Foy, signed the first ever country implementation plan for the Virgin Islands at a virtual signing ceremony held on August 17th. Premier Foy and United Nations resident coordinator for the Eastern Caribbean, Mr. Dier Tobacco, signed the plan, which will serve as the official framework for development cooperation between the VI and UN system on an annual basis. Now, this framework translates into specific plans for development cooperation at the country level and is the UN's offer to better serve small island developing states as they strive to achieve the Sustainable Development Goals by 2030. Now, the priority viewers areas for the cooperation in the VI include supporting COVID-19 response and recovery to ensure no one is left behind in the near to medium term, strengthening economic resilience with a focus on repositioning micro, small, and medium-sized enterprises for opportunities in the blue economy, strengthening integrated planning for long-term sustainable development to achieve SDGs by 2030, improving access to sustainable development financing, for example, building climate resilience and conservation of marine and terrestrial biodiversity social development, and also strengthening policy coordination and implementation to support the effective delivery of public service. Now, Premier Foy highlighted the importance of the UN's system support to the VI as the society controls multiple challenges, and said the signing was a pivotal moment in the VI's relationship with the UN at the height of the hurricane season as we presently are in the process of. Premier Foy said, and I quote, "At our most vulnerable point in the season, we are managing COVID-19 and at the same time developing a framework for the long-term sustainable development of our islands. I feel more reassured knowing that we have the support of the UN system during these very uncertain and challenging times." United Nations Resident Coordinator Mr. Chibako reaffirmed that the UN's system commitment in supporting the VI on key priorities. He said, "The day was another example of how the UN is joining hands with the VI through a multi-dimensional approach to sustainable development." He said, and I quote, "As the UN's system, we value this cooperation immensely. We are working together to provide the Virgin Islands with a tailored set of development solutions to meet their various specific needs and priorities." Now, he explained further the process of the implementation and the CIP has commenced as agencies such as UNICEF, WFP, PAHO, ECLAC, ILO, and UNDP are working closely with the government to implement specific initiatives to support the VI. Now, the government of the Virgin Islands and the UN, Barbados, and the Eastern Caribbean Resident Coordinator Office will continue to strengthen their cooperation to assist the territory in achieving the SDG's goal. Now, the VI is one of the 10 countries and territories covered by the UN Resident Coordinator Office for Barbados and the Eastern Caribbean.
Well, viewers, we head to news in terms of the hurricane shelters and community centers in the territory, where 7 of the 9 community centers in the British Virgin Islands are still undergoing rehabilitation works, even in the midst of the most active Atlantic hurricane season. But this was revealed by the Minister of Health, Carvin Malone, during a recent sitting of the House of Assembly. Well, according to Malone, the only 2 completed community centers to date are the West End Community Center and the North Sound Community Center, with the latter being completed in 2020. But the minister updated the House on the progress of the remaining 7 uncompleted community centers in the territory, where the first community center listed were the Valerie O. Thomas Community Center in Seacoast Bay, as well as the Purcell and Longstrange Community Center, which are all being funded by the European Union. Take a listen.
This community center received repairs and upgrades to the roof, kitchen cabinets, bathrooms, hurricane shutters, electrical, and the plumbing system. Works were scheduled to be completed by the end of May 2021. However, due to the effects of COVID-19 pandemic and other external factors, the hurricane shutters and other important materials were delayed. As a result, the estimated end date for completion of this project is now August 27, just 2 weeks away. I am sure, Mr. Speaker, the honorable member and the people of the 3rd District will be pleased to hear of this progress, as we have to return some functions to this center. Next, I turn to my attention to the Purcell Community Center. This project is also being funded by the EU. Improvements to this facility includes the installation of new windows and doors, upgrades to the kitchen, the cabinets, and the bathroom facility, and repairs to the electrical and the plumbing system. The repairs to the perimeter fence is also included and welcomed, as it would provide another layer of security to this facility. The repair to the perimeter fence is also included, Mr. Speaker, as I mentioned before. According to the project manager, Mr. Ronnie Letsom, tenders for the repairs were received and evaluated. A final decision on the successful contractor is pending. I expect to receive some updates in the coming weeks on this selection. I am pleased to report, Mr. Speaker, that repairs to the Long Trench Community Center is also on the list of projects that is being funded by the EU. The scope of works on this project includes improvements to the kitchen cabinet, the bathrooms, the electrical and plumbing system, site drainage, and perimeter fence. According to the project manager, again, the project will be publicly tendered in the very near future.
Well, viewers, unfortunately, we are out of time, but just to give an update, the minister also did update the territory on the East End Longlock Community Center, the Brewers Bay and K Garden Bay Community Centers, and the Anegada Community Center as well. But that's all we have today, viewers. My name is Kamal Haynes.
And I'm Ron Grant. We'll see you tomorrow. Have a beautiful rest of the day. Bye-bye.